we just had the U.S. Senate vote on a very important bill, and we have a report directly from Washington, D.C. Mandy Gunasekara has been involved in energy issues in both the federal government and elsewhere. She's the founder of Energy 45. She's a former principal deputy assistant administrator at the EPA Office of Air and Radiation. She served as a senior policy advisor at the EPA, Majority Counsel for the United States Senate Committee on Environmental Public Works. She's a graduate of the University of Mississippi School of Law, and she's with us now. And Mandy, thanks for taking time to be with us today.
Yeah, great to be with you, Kirby.
Now, Mandy, this is a big vote in the Senate today. The Wall Street Journal said this was the AOC test, if you will. What happened?
Yeah. Well, it turned out in the way we expected. You had 57 no votes. The Republicans resoundingly voted against it because it's a socialist-style takeover that would cost trillions of dollars, taxpayer dollars. It would reduce millions of good-paying jobs in the entire American fossil fuel industry. So those are your coal workers, your natural gas workers, and folks in the nuclear energy industry. And it would also require massive taxes that would result in regressive and oppressive policies for our lower to middle income Americans.
Now, this was the Green New Deal, right? This is the proposal they talked about a couple of weeks ago, and Leader McConnell brought it out for a vote to see if they really believe in it or not, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's very interesting. You had all Republicans voting against it. You had 3 Democrats and 1 independent joining Republicans voting no. But notably, you had 43 Democrats vote present. So this is they wouldn't even show up and make a decision about the issue that Democrats have been talking about as the most important issue that they've put forward to save us all from ourselves. And they couldn't even put forward a straight yes or no vote. They voted present. So
Not a single yes vote. Not a single yes vote. Wow.
Not a single yes vote. So when it comes to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the president rightfully, when the Green New Deal came out, he said it was a poorly worded term paper. He would get an F, and I think she certainly got an F today in terms of what the senators think about this, and even members from our own party.
Because I've got to tell you, I do believe that Leader O'Connell was brilliant in doing this. Because, as you know, with the Mueller probe having failed to provide any ammunition for the Democrats, they're now talking about socialism, Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, and all the rest of this. And I hope he brings the rest of their agenda up for a vote, too, to see if they really believe in it and show the American people. Because, in my mind, devastating that this proposal, which everyone lauded and several prominent senators have endorsed, like Elizabeth Warren and others, Kamala Harris, they've endorsed this, yet they couldn't even be bothered to vote yes for it when it came up for a vote.
I know. It's interesting. All the leading presidential candidates quickly lined up behind it. But what Leader McConnell was brilliant in doing is showing that Democrats, they're not serious about the climate and they're not serious about the environment. What they're serious about is socialism, and they try to use issues like climate change as a proxy to expand government control over the economy and all the citizens in it. And so these scare tactics won't work. The American people see through it, and we saw that the U.S. senators certainly saw through it today. And the Republicans showed up to vote. Unfortunately, the Democrats couldn't even give the citizens that they represent, they couldn't appropriately respond by giving yes or no. They just voted present.
I have a question. I'm wondering, were there any Democrat senators who might have stood up and said, we know what you're doing, Mitch. This is a trap. We're not going to fall for it. We're going to vote present because you're just setting us up for a tricky vote. Was there any of that? Even the Democrats protest in any way? Do you know?
Yeah, Democrats said that leading into it. There was a rally. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or earlier today. I tend to lose track of time when things get really busy. But there was a bit of a rally, and some folks called it a sham vote. But, Kirby, I'll tell you this. As a former Senate staffer, I cannot believe people who would introduce something in the Senate and then complain when the leader is willing to devote precious floor time to take it up. That is the commodity of the Senate, is time on the floor. And he gave them a chance, and they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to engage in a serious in a serious way, and instead they attacked him for having the audacity to bring up the bill that they themselves introduced.
Yeah, because usually the minority complains when the majority does not give them any time for their bills or allow their bills to be voted on. Typically, the majority would refuse, but Leader McConnell was kind enough to give them the time to make their case for this, and apparently they didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what I said earlier, is they're not seriously looking into these sorts of issues. There are some serious bipartisan proposals in terms of advancing environmental progress and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. But I think, without Congress taking any relative actions or coming up with shiny Green New Deal plans, we already lead the world under President Trump's leadership in terms of environmental progress and growing the economy. We have the cleanest air on record. We have clean water and are investing billions of dollars in new water infrastructure. And when it comes to greenhouse gases, from 2005 to today, we have reduced our energy-related CO2 emissions by 14%. Guess what the rest of the world has done? They've increased their emissions by 20%.
Yep. No, we've gone down, they've gone up, and yet they still point to us and want to punish us with regulations and laws to hold our economy back while they continue to pour it all into the environment.
Yeah, exactly. They would love for us to make our economy less competitive, so that all these American jobs that President Trump has worked hard to bring back over here would be shipped overseas to places like India and China, where they have serious environmental issues. Their energy facilities don't even have basic pollution control technology that our coal plants and our natural gas plants have been using for decades. Mm-hmm. So they would love nothing more than all of those American jobs to be shut down here because of costly regulations and sent over to them, where they would reap the economic benefits, but it would exacerbate some existing environmental issues.
Mandy Gunasekara with a report from Washington again. Leader O'Connell allowed the Green New Deal to come to the floor on a vote today, and the Democrats had a chance to walk the talk, but the vote was 57 no, 53 Republicans, 3 Democrats, 1 independent voting no, and 43 Democrats voting present, including all the senators like Senator Warren, Senator Harris, others have endorsed this plan, didn't even have the courage to vote for it in public. I guess it shows what they really think. Mandy, thank you for taking time. I appreciate it, and hope we get a chance to cross paths again.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Kirby.
Thank you very much. You have a good day. Mandy Gunasekara.